indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. Need someone to make a motion to open the regular
I'll
meeting?
make a motion to open the meeting.
Roberto, in your second.
I'll second.
Nucci, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's open. First up tonight is 19, let me just take a roll call for your sake. Well, let's go around because I can't remember the order. I normally have it up. So member Allen?
Present.
Member Boucher, present. Member Kelly?
Present.
Member Iannucci? Present. Member Umberto?
Present.
Member Carlich is absent, and at the moment, so is member Kevin. I was thinking that might have been.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, so first up tonight is 19 Forshee Street. So just come on up to the microphone and just, for the record, just state your name and spell the last name, please.
William D'Amelio, it's D''A''Amelio.
Okay, Dave, anything,
So we haven't received anything since the last meeting with the review that we did on October 7th. So the comments that we had, basically we had no comments other than outlining that it appeared to meet all of the bulk requirements, no variances were required. There were no changes to utilities, grading, or access. And an EAF was submitted, but we believe that it's a type 2 action under secret. And that's it that we had on our review.
and I think that rendering you sent in is the
new one
piece going across the whole front there.
shows shutter to the left.
Yes, yep. Did we get a look at that? On the board? I'll put it up here for you. There it is. The first one, yeah, that's good. And just give me a little bit bigger, just so they can see. So you see the shutters, and then you see the kind of the eyebrow all the way across.
The one that put them on the side as well, the shutters.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
So it breaks it up nicely.
Yeah.
It does, it breaks it up nicely.
Elizabeth, anything?
I have prepared a draft resolution. The only thing that I see, because this is an out of character, we're processing this as an out of character. It does require architectural review, which we're addressing as part of the overhang. I did not see, unless they came in separately, materials.
I was going to ask the same thing.
Oh,
Okay.
there's a show and tell.
Yep, just bring them right up here.
Look at that. Ask and ye shall receive.
Magic tricks.
The whole gift box.
So
Siding.
this is the type of siding.
Okay. Just put that up real quick.
Color is going to be this.
Heritage blue.
And the shutters would be this.
The top right. It's gonna be the top right. Heritage.
That's nice. That's the shutter.
And there's the shutter.
You good with it?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the front side.
And this is the.
Like a cedar shape.
Good color, nice color combination.
This is the front only.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
front would be like that, and the side would
okay.
be the other one.
Looks like
So
it's
this will
gonna
go
be.
this way,
Right,
and the side's going to go,
then it goes along.
yeah, long ways. Yep. That's for the front.
The vertical. Yes.
Same color as
With
the
the
blue,
right. it'll be
all the
blue.
way around.
Yeah,
Where is this gonna go?
Front,
that's
just the
gonna be
front.
the front only. It's a
Okay.
cedar shape look.
Okay.
And then on the side, you know, it'd be your basic
Yeah.
straight, but it's actually got a little design to it, it's not flat, it's,
Right, it's like a shiplap.
right.
Yeah. And the roofing shingle, did you
Yeah.
delineate that? You guys go with this?
Yep.
Okay.
Now, do we have to record the actual brand and color and everything like that?
We have, I
Yes.
think
We
that's,
have it already?
I think we have that, right, Liz?
I have nothing, I'm happy, my resolution doesn't have, but I can easily insert
Get it,
as we,
okay.
as you
Insert.
guys have
There
that
you go.
discussion.
And which one are you doing?
So it's either gonna be that one or that one.
Right.
Who's this one?
Yes, the wine, yeah.
This one. So with this shutter,
He's trying
yeah,
to.
Yeah, the-
do you want to show her?
Sure.
Let her write them down.
And
Okay.
That.
Oh, I like that color, as it
Wow.
kind of matches my pants
This
here.
is just a type of siding.
Okay,
Um, That'll be on the side and the back,
this,
yeah, and then the cedar shaped look will be in the front.
okay.
Is it gonna be the same, is it gonna be the same color?
Yes,
It's gonna be the blue all the way?
blue all the way around,
Okay.
That,
yeah,
that.
or that, yeah.
with the
So-
wine
So
shade.
it's gonna
Oh,
be
that's pretty.
this or this.
Heritage blue.
Mhm.
I like that color.
It's
Not
gonna
that my
be
opinion
this
matters.
one, Barbara, or
And then
that
it's
one, they
this
said.
color for the back.
No,
so-
no,
Either
no,
one for the
it'll
blue?
be this color all the way around. It
Oh.
says this will be on the sides and the back of the house. and
That's
this
on
will be
the front.
of the house.
Yeah, Liz needs this.
Front, so this heritage blue. Okay.
And pass this to Elizabeth too.
Okay, hold on, I'm writing, Steve. And that's gonna be heritage blue. And then shutter is going to be
Berry. Not the cranberry, just a
berry,
berry. Yeah,
okay.
more of a wine.
All right,
Room.
2 hours there on that one.
I saw your thing come through.
I was going with this to
There,
break
okay.
up the. Just the wood, right there.
pewter, shake wood?
Yep.
Just gonna Timberline HDZ.
No thanks.
Okay. Is everybody happy with those?
Yeah.
We're all good with those? Okay. Nope, no worries.
Yeah, we're good with,
Okay.
the materials, the colors.
Excellent. So, I'm just gonna run through the resolution as I've drafted it. Okay. And this is subject to change based on our discussion. Whereas the Village of Monroe Planning Board is in receipt of an application for site plan approval and architectural review pursuant to 200-25.1A4 of the Village of Monroe Code, seeking to reconstruct an existing single-family home together with a second-story addition located at 19 Forshee Street. Whereas the planning board has received and considered the following: application signed September 18th, 2024, short form environmental assessment form dated September 17th, 2024, plot plan prepared by Civil Tech Engineering and Surveying PC dated August 29th, 2024, comments of the village building inspector, village engineer, and planning board attorney. Whereas the planning board has determined that this is a type 2 action pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act and no further environmental review is required. And whereas the application does not require a public hearing and the planning board has elected not to hold a public hearing. And now therefore be it resolved, the planning board, see, this is why I read these out loud, grants the proposed site plan and architectural approval subject to the following conditions. Prior to signing of the site plan, applicant to address the comments as set forth in the memo of Dave Higgins of Lincoln Tully Engineering dated October 7th, 2024. There's not really much for you to address since they're by standard. Materials list, I have cedar shake siding in the front in the color of heritage blue. I have Estate Royal, and that's the horizontal siding. And on the three side, the rear, and the side. Also in Heritage Blue, the shutters will be the berry color, almost like a wine color. The roof is shake wood, and it's the Timberline HDZ shingles. I will add that to my resolution. The chairman shall be authorized to sign the site plan upon confirmation from the village engineer and planning board attorney that all outstanding conditions have been satisfied. The applicant to pay all fees, applicant to obtain all permits. Are there any other conditions the board wishes me to include?
No.
I thought we were going to add always a condition that construction has to start in 1 year.
I can do, that's just a statement of the code, so yes.
Right.
That's just a restatement of the code, I'm happy to add that.
Okay,
Just be aware our code requires that
I'm
construction.
sure he's gonna start longer.
We'll start like as soon as we get.
Yesterday?
Maybe
I
say,
know.
maybe we'll say finish within a year.
I'll put, I'll include that language. So subject to that addition, does, anybody have anything else to add? Okay,
I think we're good.
so assuming the board's gonna make a motion and vote to accept this, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go back to my office first thing tomorrow morning. I'm gonna finalize this. I'm gonna email it to Terry. Dave's probably gonna send an email tomorrow or Thursday saying we're good, because you don't really, based on what we have, you don't really have conditions. I'm gonna send a similar email. So then Chairman Boucher will be in a position to sign it later this week. Because I don't think you have any edits to your plans, right?
No, there was nothing on mine.
Okay, and they're already signed, sealed?
Not the least, so, yeah.
Okay. So get the plans into Terry, and we'll coordinate the signing. Once we have the signing, you can take that to Jim, and Jim can issue a building permit.
Yes.
Yes, you're signed and
Signed.
sealed.
Yep.
So the plans don't need any revisions, so the plans we have. Okay,
You guys still requiring Mylars? Because people are always asking.
We are, but
it's in the code.
it's in the code.
I know it is, but I'm just saying, it's always a question.
Yeah.
I'd like to iron that out.
Yeah, it's in the code.
I mean, we still do it because it's in the code. We don't use them, and we could probably get that changed, so. We'll
That's
put,
my point.
yeah, we'll put that into
I
going
think,
forward.
given the situation, if it's acceptable to the building inspector, I will confer with the village attorney whether we need a Mylar, but I would, if Jim's comfortable, are you happy going
I
on?
don't need Mylar. We don't, it's you guys that need a Mylar.
I'm not, that's a technical that if we need a Mylar for filing, I'm not gonna let that hold up his building permit. So, we'll get the paper copy signed, we'll get a print copy signed, and that way Jim can process off of that. A Mylar is just that funny.
Yeah, I print them out
Yeah,
every day.
so, I don't know for site plan that you need it, because you're not filing it with the county.
Right.
Okay. So, in light of those changes, is there a motion?
We need a motion to approve the resolution as read by Elizabeth.
I'll make that motion.
Member Allen, second.
Second?
Member Umberto, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, I'll get a final resolution to Terry in the morning.
Good luck. We look forward to the building.
Good luck.
So now, what do I do to get the building permit?
So once Terry hands you a signed, resolution and signed site plan, you can walk across the hall and make your
The
file.
building department, right. So probably Wednesday, Thursday, and then you can walk over and see Jim in the office there.
So if you wanna, it's probably already filled out, ready to go, but if you wanted to start filling out your building permit application, you can start doing that, okay?
Okay, good luck to you.
That's it.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Okay, next up is 10 Winchester. And just for the record, just say your name and then spell your last name.
Abraham Samet, S-A-M-E-T.
Dave, do you have your comments?
So nothing new was received. We had no technical comments that needed to be addressed. This is just a copy of the letter that you probably already have from October 7th. All technical review comments had been addressed. There is nothing new on our end that needed any plan revisions.
Elizabeth?
I do not have any additional comments above and beyond what was presented at the work session, if you give me one moment. I did prepare a draft resolution for the board's consideration.
And this one's not subject to the ARB.
This one is not subject to ARB.
Comments from the board? Anything more?
Terry, my only question is, did we receive a signed decision, or they haven't voted on the format of the decision? Okay. So what I have done in light of that, because I don't want to hold this approval up for, make them wait more time after the ZBA, we've received a draft ZBA resolution. To the best of my knowledge, everything, there's no reason to indicate that they've already voted and effectively granted the variance subject to the decision. We've been provided a decision. I got that decision directly from the ZBA attorney, Kelly Naughton, and what I'm recommending as one of the conditions is approval shall be subject to the signed decision in order of the Zoning Board of Appeals consistent with the draft decision in order dated September 13th, 2024. So prior to sign, so we can take action this evening, but prior to signing the plan, yeah.
Actions.
That way, the moment they sign it, we have it, we can proceed rather than waiting for a follow-up meeting. So, if I may. Whereas the Village of Monroe Planning Board is in receipt of an application for site approval pursuant to section 200-68D1 of the Village of Monroe Code, seeking, again, this is why I read that loud, to construct an addition of 951 square feet over and that's a single story, to an existing single-family home located at 10 Winchester Drive. Whereas the Planning Board has received and considered the following: application signed August 16th, 2024, short form environmental assessment form dated August 10th, 2024. Plot plan prepared by Roger Bradley, architect, dated September 8th, 2023, last revised October 8th, 2024. Comments of the village building inspector, village engineer, and planning board attorney. Whereas the planning board has determined that this is a type 2 action pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act and no further environmental review is required. And whereas the application does not require a public hearing and the planning board has elected not to hold a public hearing. And whereas the Village of Monroe Zoning Board of Appeals granted an area variance authorizing the applicant to exceed the maximum floor area ratio FAR by up to 587.83 square feet. That represents an addition of 27 feet 2 inches by 35 feet over as a one-story addition. And now therefore be it resolved, the planning board, I'm really bad with that, grants the proposed site plan approval subject to the following conditions. Prior to the signing of the site plan, applicant to address the comments as set forth in the memo of David Higgins, dated October 7th, 2024. Again, prior to signing of the site plan approval, subject to a signed decision and order of the Zoning Board of Appeals consistent with the draft decision and order dated September 13th, 2024. The site plan shall be subject to the terms and conditions of the decision and order of the Zoning Board of Appeals dated September 13th, 2024. Chairman shall be authorized to sign the site plan upon confirmation from the village engineer and planning board attorney that all outstanding conditions have been satisfied. Applicant to pay all fees, applicant to obtain all permits, and I'm happy to add that one-year language.
You're amending it to add the same comment Joe made before?
Yep.
Yep.
I normally have that. I just, for this,
Right,
I
that's fine.
forgot it, and then I went copy paste and started over. Well, I could carry it over again.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve this as read in by Attorney Cassidy, read and amended.
Make that motion.
Member Iannucci made the motion, second.
Second.
Member Kelly seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. You understood everything there, right?
So what do I need to do?
So you just need to, we're gonna have it ready to go, but we can't, I can't sign it until we get the actual decision from the zoning board.
You need to sign.
Signed decision by them.
By the chair.
When is that going to be?
That's, I wish I could control the zoning board.
They haven't been having meetings for the last 2 months.
Yeah, you would have to inquire to them.
We do have a meeting coming up this month, in November, yes. The second Tuesday of the month, so we do have a meeting.
Yeah, the current plan is fine, right, Dave?
So this is by the time it's second Tuesday of November, they're gonna have a meeting, so the time this is gonna be ready to go. As soon as they have it signed.
Yeah, we'll have it ready for November 2nd for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, this is just, this permits us, rather than making him wait
Right.
till the November meeting to
Exactly.
take action, we're
Yeah.
taking action such
yeah,
as.
so whenever we receive it from them, I'll sign it.
Thank you so much.
Yep, you're welcome. And the sign of the current plan, Dave, is good?
Yeah, they had actually submitted after the last work session, revised
Right.
plan which addressed our comments.
Great,
I
perfect.
take action immediately.
We like that, that's good.
I've been waiting for months.
Well, good luck to you.
Yes,
Good luck to you.
Then when this resolution is done, then I can go to the building inspector.
correct. Yep, as soon as we sign it, you can walk across the hall.
Thank you.
About 3 months behind, please.
Okay.
We already did the comments on the building.
Yes, I have it.
Yeah, so we're moving.
I also look forward to it. Thank you so much.
All right, have a good night.
We are in the middle of the hour right now, so I just squeezed that in.
Perfect.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Thanks so much.
Okay, let's see. Next up is Choco Cheese, 562, Route 17. Mike, what's it on to?
Good evening, is this it? Good evening, everyone. Mike Morgante, project engineer for this application. I believe tonight I think the main task at hand is to take a look at the renderings that were recently submitted and talk to the board to see what the pleasure of the board is as it relates to those renderings. So I don't know if somebody wants to
Yeah, we're gonna put it up there right now.
take a look.
So it looks like what you presented to us, Mike, is awnings, material awnings, right?
Well, there was two options.
Yeah, I saw the other one, but I'm talking this one right here.
Correct.
We're looking at like material.
Yeah, they were. I think they could be framed actually. They could be wood framed
Okay,
awnings with some
Okay.
type of
little shingle or something.
something similar to what was there before, in a sense.
Right, yeah, because I think that would be a better, I think, you guys can speak into it. We haven't talked about
Yeah,
that.
that makes it way better.
Yeah, it looks
Just that right there, yeah.
So that, yeah, that looks really nice. The other one, I wasn't understanding, it was not clear to me. Because I didn't understand, is it 19 inches deep, is it 19 inches out as an overhang? Because there's no depth, I can't see the depth on it.
Right. So, so what you have, second door into the left, the third door into the left, fourth, fifth, and sixth doors. Those are, they're like, they're. for lack
So
of-
3, 1, 2, 3, right?
Yeah.
4 is the middle one, 5, 6, 7.
Correct.
Okay.
They're like little dental protrusions, so to speak. They're about 9 inches protruding.
9 inches, I thought it said 19.
Yeah, no. So we would have an actual like canopy where the door is on the left and in the center doorway in the middle, but the other ones would just be more or less like that type of a dental awning, so not an awning, but a protrusion. It would give like some character to the front of the building in that same
I
sense.
see what you're saying.
Yeah,
And the one on the left and over the main door will be actual awnings?
correct.
Yeah, I don't think that would look good at all.
Yeah.
That's my, you know.
What's that?
So what this is showing is, you see the one all the way to the left, the door all the way to the left?
Yes.
That would have a full awning, like we saw in the last picture. The rest of them, and the middle door, the main access door, see, it's just the door?
Yeah, well, skinny
That would have an awning. And the other ones would just have, what Mike just said, is this kind of dental protrusion of 9 inches out.
I don't know if I like that so well.
Yeah, I don't like it at all. I like the other one.
What's the canopy made? Is that one built out of wood too as well? The bigger ones?
No, those would be probably some type of metal.
Why only I'm not getting the one on the left, but no other ones.
I mean, so they don't really want any of these except for on the two that are shown. They don't want people to mistake the doors not to be used.
We should take the doors out.
I don't think that's an option at this point.
Well, then that's
Right.
that's an easy solution.
I mean, so we were looking at the awnings for option B. I mean, if that's something that the board's more interested in, then we're willing to do option B on this. That's fine.
I think Mike and I was talking to Jeff earlier today in preparation for the meeting, because the doors are shown and knowing that a commercial space in the future could be, your tenant could take less space, you could allocate spaces for different tenants, that, those doors are invite to be used. So if we're gonna.
So if chocolate cheese doesn't do as well as they're hoping, because no one buying the strawberry pie or whatever
they
they're doing.
have usable
And
spaces.
they
doors.
right, and then they have it all set. It's ready to go.
Correct.
So, any comments from you guys on that? I mean, the other one is, they could do wood shingle, so it comes out, what, 2 foot?
Probably about that, 2 to 3
Yeah.
foot, just enough to kind of cover the sidewalk.
Right, exactly, right, that would be perfect.
And you guys are
What's the problem with
opposed
the whole sidewalk?
to do the whole thing
Yeah, that's what I should
Just-
say. What was
just
the
go-
problem with that?
right across?
Well, here's the,
That's what we asked for in the very beginning.
well, we asked for both, actually. We said, we were talking about all of it. And I'd rather went straight across the building,
And then
or the individual ones. We talked about, the only reason I say this, Joe, is or again, this is just my opinion. If, like Elizabeth just said, we're talking, if these become individual businesses, then you already have the individual awning with the door over that particular place. That's the,
But it's the whole building concept.
yeah, I guess.
It's the whole concept, from end to end, put the overhang, and it's so clean looking.
Actually,
I think
it's
that's-
broken. I think
breaking it up is, I think breaking
we
it up
have
is
a
nicer.
continuous roof line above at this time now, which we weren't even proposing.
Right,
So
and that's coming out
plus the
what?
little one beneath it, I think.
Is that like
that's
18 inches coming out on the top?
Probably about that. It'll be on the other side, right? So that plus a continuous line beneath, I think it's just 2 long lines. I think with the
agree with that.
individual canopies in the second one, it breaks it up a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean, I see that too. Put the other one back. Okay, please.
It also draws attention to each individual door.
Well, what is this now? Is this,
This is
This is
what's the
the
material?
wooden shingle.
shingles.
Oh, that's gonna look better. I like that better.
It would most likely match with something.
Perfect, yeah, that'd be great.
The wooden shingle, it's not like the canvas will eventually wear down or
Well,
be
it's-
ratty. This will probably, hold up better.
And so what we'll need too, Mike, just as you know already, is the exact material list and a sample.
What don't you like with this, David? What don't you like with this?
How about this one?
They don't like it. They don't like
I thought it was gonna be like this, but complete from end to end. That's the way I thought it was gonna be. That's when Mike left last week with the gentleman from Chocolate Cheese, I thought that was really the solution that was.
You think that would look nicer?
I'm sorry?
You think a straight one across would look nicer?
Yes, I really do.
See, I think this
I
breaks
like
it up so much nicer.
Yeah, I like this.
Breaks it up. We took a look at it, just this looks nicer. It's much nicer broken up than this for one continuous.
And then you won't have one across the doorway going in, like the center?
Actually.
Or if you join those 2 middle
Yeah, we'll have to
ones?
take a look at that, yeah.
Yeah, join the 2 center ones over that door right there, right? Maybe?
That'll probably make sense.
Like 2, then
One
a
bigger
triple one, and then the double on the side over there, maybe. Maybe we'll satisfy
Be cheaper that way.
over the center door.
Yeah.
We can either join the 2 in the middle.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, join the 2 in the middle.
We'll look at if we do an individual individual one in the
No,
middle.
but make it
Join
one
the two,
long one
so
in the
it's
middle,
one long one in the middle.
and then the two singles on the each
And then
side.
two things, yeah, I think that would look good. What do you think?
Yeah.
Fine.
Well, you need a covering over your single doors, so I think
Yeah.
that would be best.
It looks,
I like that idea.
it looks
What
like
do you
it's
think,
left,
Fred?
looks like it's left out.
I think so. I still, it's so bare looking now. I can't tell if this is adequate to compensate.
Well, don't forget, what you're not seeing too is they're bringing the roof line out about 18 inches. Because it's all flat, I think, currently, going straight up. So you're gonna have that as well.
That adds a little bit more character to the building as well. I've been waiting to pull this out, so I wanted to. So just to be sure, this will be continuous from here to there,
Right.
and these will remain as shown.
Now, if you want, you can go, bring it up to snuff and use a laser pointer.
No, I
won't
would,
work.
trust me, but it's
Mike, where's the public entrance to the building? Two Choco Cheese.
Yeah, right.
This will be the main entrance right here. These doors here will remain closed.
Is that middle one a stairway, Mike?
It is.
It just goes straight up to the top.
Yeah.
Is it, and there's another way in from the back of the building?
back
Okay.
as well, yes.
Which, yeah.
Are they gonna cover those windows? Is the bakery gonna be there? Are they gonna leave it open so everybody can see the bakery, or is there gonna be a covering on the windows? Do you have any idea?
I don't at this time.
Right now, there's paper.
Cover now.
You don't think anything else needs to go above the windows up top?
Well, they say it's
The
gonna be
overkill?
18, they're
Well,
gonna
they're talking
have.
about the overhang from up.
I don't think there's too much room up top because you've got the overhang coming out
From the roof.
from the roof.
You're talking about over the windows?
At the top
I
window.
think it would be too crowded, Fred, honestly.
Yeah.
I think you're overloading it at that point. I think the fact that we added the roof line above with soffit adds the character that you need to the second floor.
Right. Any other thoughts?
Green is just a discoloring.
That's
Is
the
that right?
actual, that's the actual screen, that's correct. That's the
That's the
TV
TV.
screen.
That's, okay, all right, so it's gonna be like
Gray,
light
white.
gray, white, light gray. white.
Correct, correct, yes. So we can certainly provide the material samples for the next meeting, and then maybe we can carry this across the finish line at that point.
Dave, any comments?
No, all of our prior comments have been addressed. So we're good.
Elizabeth?
No, I had previously prepared a draft resolution that I filled in. We did discuss at our last meeting that we are not requiring new landscaping, that the existing landscaping is sufficient for the nature of the project. I have just the materials and then the signage. So you're taking off the signs, you're putting the signs on the awnings.
That's correct.
Okay, so we'll just have to insert that language once you finalize it, so this is ready to go for those edits.
Okay.
Okay. And it is a type 2 action under seeker, so you don't have any further environmental review. The one issue that we do need to look into is, it was brought to my attention, bonding, and I went, we're not bonding, there's no public improvements, except that's not the way the code reads. So I'm gonna confer with the village attorney to confirm whether we need to have the cost estimate prepared, and I'll shoot you an email.
Okay.
I think, unless you disagree, it's overkill, but the code may.
I think you were trying to figure that out too.
I had spoken with John O'Rourke a number of weeks ago.
Okay.
At the time, we were talking about the Islamic Center.
Right.
And they had provided a construction cost estimate for all site improvements. And I believe they were referred to the village board for acceptance of
Yeah.
that. I think they were actually gonna
Right.
ask for it to be waived as a not-for-profit, but again, that's up to the village board, I think. But also then there's 5% inspection fees that get posted for, inspection services during construction. So I think the village code, as Elizabeth mentioned, calls for, provision of a cost estimate, provision of a bond, and provision of inspection fees. I guess the question is, whether or not.
To what degree?
That's what it's always been in the past. Yeah. That's the practice that the planning board is always on.
But it's usually associated with things like if you're putting in drainage infrastructure, you're putting in, streets, you're putting in things like that that affect, you're altering the public curb cuts, things like that. So again, in this particular situation, my initial reaction would be that bonding might not necessarily, full-scale bond is not necessarily appropriate, because if they don't complete the construction, they just don't get their CO. In other instances, for example, a subdivision, if the developer doesn't finish the road, there may be lot owners that are adversely affected, and then the village can come in and construct that road on behalf of those lot owners, and has the money to do that. That's the whole purpose of the bond. Things like traffic lights, other things like that. So I just have to look into that issue.
I'm in agreement with that. No, but,
Shocking.
yeah, no, I think if there's, municipal utilities that are involved, if we have an entrance that we're redoing that connects to a village road, those are the things where there may be things like signs that we have to bond or things
Yeah,
of
I
that
think
nature.
for us, it's getting clarification from
Sure.
the attorney, because if it's in the code and we need to do it, then we need to do
Right,
it.
but if you follow the language, technically the two projects we just approved require bonding.
Right.
And
Well, then-
those have obviously no public infrastructure whatsoever.
Right, at all. So then I would definitely have the conversation, and then probably see also, if that is the case, and we're not gonna do it, then we need to address the code for the board.
Well, I've already sent the email to Reese.
Yeah, just let me know as soon as you can. I'll have, if it's required, I'll have it ready for the next meeting,
Yeah.
if it's required.
Is there gonna be any lighting for this? Like,
No, the existing
nothing
site-
underneath the awnings there, maybe just one coming out?
Correct. Yeah, existing site lighting is adequate for this.
Good?
I think we're good.
If
You're
they're
gonna
coming,
adjust it, and
well, he's coming back, so,
so we can do it then.
Yeah, so I won't be here in November, so I don't know if Lipa will represent the project. Someone will be here in my absence, either
Okay.
him or another colleague of mine. Somebody will be here. I personally won't be here.
All right, just see if you get the samples in.
Yes, that
Yep.
shouldn't be an issue. Yeah, we'll get that in.
Okay, sounds good. All right, very good, good.
Thanks for your time.
All right, Mike, thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Right before you, what about the addition that's going in the back? That's-
I didn't think there was any view from the public for that. It's pretty well screened from, obviously, the building in the front, and I don't think you can really see much of it from 17M as you're driving by either way.
it's gonna have the same stucco finish. It's gonna have the same stucco finish as
Right.
the front.
But I know we had a public hearing on this and so on, but, of course, I know we're fussing with the building in the front for optics,
Right, it's the one that
but,
faces everything.
which the building looks much better than what it looks like now. But, the building in the back, we're all okay with that? Everything in there, David?
I think that was discussed, they had a rendering, I think, if I remember, that showed
Yeah, we had
that
some
same
elevation
stucco
pictures.
finish, and I think at the time the discussion was focused on the front of the building.
I know.
And to improve that, so,
Yeah.
maybe it's up to the board, but.
Yeah. I think it's not in sight, and it's
Yeah,
it's
so,
the same stucco finish, you're just not
Yeah.
putting 3D on it.
It's a box edition, understood. Okay,
All right. Thanks again for your time tonight. Have a good night, everybody.
You too.
good night.
Okay. And,
Just before we move on to the next,
yep,
the reason I mentioned a couple of times, let's get whatever we approve, let's get started within the year. It's in the code and now, we approved the Verizon tower. I haven't seen anything yet.
And they
we
were,
approved, when did we approve that? That was early in this year.
Yeah,
Hold
that
on, I
was
can
like-
tell you, give me 1 second.
That was early this year.
May, April.
and they were like pushing
March,
us.
They
to
were
get it
pushing.
going.
Oh, yeah, they were pushing.
They needed to get this done. This was very important. Nothing's happening.
Maybe they're putting the foundation.
Now, I'm just saying.
Actually, we approved it in January.
January. They got 3 months.
It's 10 months.
Well, they're gonna have to get their permits renewed, I guess, in January.
Forgive me for,
Come in for an extension.
Right.
They have, yeah, approval if work is not initiated within 1 year.
But if they come in for an extension, they gotta come before the board.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, they just don't go to Jim.
I'm
No,
telling
they
everybody
have
the
to
cell
us.
service is gonna get better in town because
Yeah.
they're gonna put up a tower and everyone's like,
I
"Where's
mean-
the tower?"
I
So you
mean,
get to ask all those questions to them when they stand there.
this was urgent.
Yeah. I mean, they had a team here.
I didn't mean to.
Remember all the people here? It was
You know,
like,
and the same thing, even before I got on the board,
The queue.
there was an approval for that subdivision behind
the queue, it's called.
the queue.
Yeah.
Nothing's happened.
They cleared the trees, did the tree cutting. and
They cleared it.
They did clear it, right?
It looks like they cleared it.
Did they do something?
They did something, but not a whole lot.
That's the lead.
Is their site plan even still valid?
You know, I think they owe us money, like 40 grand.
Oh, do they?
Maybe they're hiding.
From what I can see, from the records that I have, but I haven't done, I don't even.
Yeah,
know
we
how
talked about that.
to
Yeah.
dig really deep and see.
You know, starting construction, what does that mean? Just for me to go on site and move a bulldozer around for a day, that's not the start of construction.
Could be.
Well, I mean, what is
Jim?
that? Jim, what does that consider?
I mean, what is that consider? You have to show progress. You don't just push dirt around.
Why though? If it's up to them, it's their money.
Yeah,
If they
it's-
work at their
No,
time, they got the money from
no.
us.
Here we are. It's in our code. You got to get started in 1 year.
Fine.
Or they come for an extension.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but
Who cares how
let
long
them
they
come.
and start?
Yeah.
Okay? But if
So
they
it-
But
start,
it's been over a year since we approved the queue.
Yeah.
oh, the queue is before I got here.
So just
That's a couple
So they'd
years.
have to come before us, I guess they're expired at this point.
So we're digressing, but real quickly to answer that question, so for site plan, it shall secure a building permit or site work permit prior to the 1 year expiration. So that's why they cleared it. So they cleared it, well, I don't even know if they cleared it within a year.
The trees, they got a permit to drop the trees at the beginning of that, because they were in a row.
And you have to do that in a certain period of time,
Yes.
so.
But there's no continuous process, no
Here
continuous.
you go. Once
know
a,
the code's
here you
that well
go.
on that.
We actually have nice language. Once a building permit is issued, if on-site work ceases for a period of more than 6 months, then the applicant shall be required to secure an extension of site plan approval from the planning board for a reasonable period not to exceed 1 year. So you can't just pull the permit.
So,
You gotta
Yeah,
actually
but they
do
gotta
work.
come.
when did they clear that? Do you know when they cleared it, Jim? Roughly? So they'd have to come now, so they can't, so what that says is they can't start working again until they come get an
Come in
extension.
front of us.
Well, they don't even have any permits.
So they haven't pulled.
Right, that too.
Yeah.
So-
They don't have a signed site plan. They don't have anything.
We didn't sign that site
How
plan?
the hell we approve it then, if they don't
Well,
sign?
You approved it, but it was going through the final stage with Orange County and.
So we're waiting for outside agency approvals.
Yeah,
Oh, so maybe that's what's holding them up.
up.
that is what I.
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
Orange County
Right,
sewer.
right, 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 right.
County sewer was a huge problem, and they may have had one other issue.
Right, I remember that sewer conversation.
Let's,
Okay.
let's not, because we don't have an
All right.
applicant here, let's,
No, Jesse wants his moment here. All right, Jesse. You got the hot seat.
I'm not, I don't have much to say tonight, I'm just here to listen to you guys.
We have a lot to say.
oh, Jesse.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll start with Dave.
So we did receive, after the work session, the additional information on the floodplain analysis that MH&E had prepared. I did have a new comment letter dated October 21st. Have you received that?
Yes, yeah.
So we can go through the comments. Maybe I'll just try and hit the ones here that I think were added since the work session on the 7th.
You have one later than the 7th, Dave?
October 21st. Yeah, I just sent that to Terry this
Oh,
morning.
I see it. I got it.
So, sorry, I'll start here. I think the new ones start on note number 7. plan shows a series of existing light poles that run along the edge of the existing paved area. The light poles are located more than 80 feet from the proposed rear parking lot. Will the existing light poles be removed? So they're far off from where the paving, the proposed parking lot will be. The question is, are you going to leave the light poles there, or are you going to remove them? So that should be.
Removal's the one we want to see.
Yep.
Number 8, during the October 9th, 2024 Planning Board meeting, the need for screening along Route 17M was discussed. Future plans should address screening. Number 9, per section 200-51.02, all vehicles except one tow truck shall be stored within the building when the facilities are not open for business. However, not more than 5 licensed vehicles requiring minor repairs may be left outside for a period not to exceed 48 hours. And these shall be effectively screened from all property lines, except as to the holding of a vehicle for not more than 60 days for insurance appraisal purposes covering property damage claims, and except as to the holding of a vehicle for the required period to perfect or protect a garageman's lien pursuant to statute, and except as to the holding of vehicles impounded by the state of New York. At no time shall any unlicensed or dismantled vehicles be outside a building. So I know that we've talked about that. I think there was some discussion as to whether or not they were going to potentially change the regulation to more than 5 vehicles or not, but at this point in time it's 5 vehicles maximum. Number 10, plans should note measures to be employed to mitigate potential impacts associated with the auto body shop. For example, leaking fluids. We talked about that. You might recall on
Elm Street.
On Elm Street, and using the absorbent mats and whatnot for leaking fluids. So provide those notes on the plan for that. Number 11, regarding the September 30th, 2024 letter from MHE Engineering addressing the floodplain mitigation, the following are offered. A, FEMA for MET or FEMA panel map should be provided. B, floodplain and floodway elevation should be provided in the report. First floor elevation should also be provided. C, cross sections should be provided showing the existing and proposed finished grade and flood elevations. Mitigation area being created to offset the area of the floodplain being filled should be clearly shown. D, report should demonstrate compliance with 107-14B of the village code. Number 12, the flood mitigation grading plan has been provided. This plan should be signed by a New York State licensed professional engineer. Number 13, the flood mitigation grading plan proposes the use of modular flood control barrier kit provided by Garrison Flood Control. Plan should state whether this is intended to be a temporary measure or a permanent one. Details of construction for the modular system should be provided. Number 14, it is unclear what area of the floodplain is being filled and by how much. Number 15, the proposed floodplain disturbance mitigation area appears to be located downstream of any proposed floodplain disturbance. As such, it would appear that the floodplain elevation at the point along Ramapo Creek where the disturbance is proposed would increase. Number 16, the proposed floodplain disturbance mitigation area is shown with a berm on the downstream side which would prevent free flow of stormwater, essentially creating a small ponded area which would not alleviate flooding. The design engineer should review and revise as needed. And number 17, the report should clearly indicate how the proposal complies with section 107 of the village code.
Yeah, I hate to sound ignorant, but can you explain it's number 16?
So if you look at the plan, you
I'm
have
sorry,
to
15, but the
number 15?
Yeah.
So what's happening with the floodplain disturbance, they're basically saying that they're filling a portion of the floodplain. Okay, when you do that, the floodplain would increase, right? And so what they're saying is, well, we're going to create a depression to offset the volume or the area, cross-sectional area of the part that's being filled. So if you look at the plan, they have like a little ponded area, there's a little berm on the outhill side of it. That's downhill, downstream from where the disturbance is proposed. So if you were to look at a cross-section, where they're filling, they're not taking away. They're not
compensating for it.
They're not
correctly.
compensating along that same area. They're compensating downstream.
Right. Oh, that's right.
So what I'm saying is that's not really going to have any
So the building is
positive
upstream.
effect on it.
Right. So they've got to raise that area higher than it
Yeah,
appears.
but it's kind of hard to see because can't really tell exactly where the fill is really proposed.
Okay.
The site plan map doesn't
It would,
clearly
yeah,
show
it's
that.
really just, I think it's raising no more than a foot, just to grade the parking behind the building there. There'll be no area that would be necessary.
and it looked to me like it might have been half a foot where the parking was, but then there's an area right now where you have pavement between the parking area and the creek, right? Like, that's where you could increase your flood area in that and offset the difference there. You understand what I'm saying?
If I'm not mistaken, they're gonna have to do a no rise certificate. They're gonna have to produce that.
There's
Part of that floodplain permit.
Right, there's no impact associated
Right,
with
so
fill.
so an engineer's gonna have to determine that there's a no rise certificate, and that has to be on file with me at the end, so they're gonna have to have notes on there, but they're gonna have to furnish that.
And that's part of the comment that I had, number 11D. Report should demonstrate compliance with section 107-14B of the village code.
Which is that no rise certificate.
And there's certain elements of that have to be in the report that are being provided by MHD.
Dave, on that plan, do you see the mean high water mark demarcation?
No, I don't believe that's shown, but they show the limits of the floodplain, they show the limits of the floodway, they show the wetlands, although they're kind of hard to see and hard to make out. But
So
they're
one
on
of the
map.
things, and Elizabeth, you can read it if you want to, or I,
I'll read it.
but Ted Fink, our planner, weighed in too. And, the building has to be, more than 50 feet from the mean high water mark. But the problem is the brook is in the property line. You own all the way across to the other side of the brook. So where you guys are taking the measurement from, I'm assuming, based on what we're seeing, you don't have enough room in there.
If you clarify that, the 50 feet from.
So I'll read, and I'll email you this, I just got this email today, I'll read you what Ted wrote. When, at our last meeting, Mr. Namaco said we had the wetlands delineated, we don't need permits from Army Corps or DEC. I am not the environmental expert, so I did reach out to Ted to confirm that he agreed with that assessment. He does not agree with that assessment, and so this is,
Is it because of the stream?
hold on, let me, there's a couple of different things. The Ramco River is a New York State protected stream with a classification of B. The proposed site plans show construction activity, removal of paved area, construction of concrete walkway, construction of a flood barrier at the edge of the floodway, 15 additional parking spaces, landscaping, etc. in close proximity to the stream. Since I only have digital copies of the site plans, I'm unable to carry out measurements to verify that such work would or would not require DEC approval. The state's Protection of Water program requires a permit for any disturbance of the bed or banks of protected streams. This covers both the stream and an additional 50 feet or more from the mean high water mark of the stream under specified circumstances. State jurisdiction on the proposed work will need to be verified in writing from the DEC. The high water mark of the Ramapo is not shown on the plan, so it should be assumed that DEC is involved. Seeker guidance is that when reviewing maybe answers on an EAF form, they should be construed as a yes unless determined otherwise. That's number one. 2, the state DEC's Hudson Valley Natural Resource Mapper shows potential state protected freshwater wetlands adjacent areas. A regulated area 100-foot buffer to the wetlands where a permit may be needed, where work appears to be proposed. Sheet C2 shows an area of wetland boundary and a note that it was surveyed by ClearPoint Services on April 5th, 2024. It does not identify if this wetland boundary is for state wetlands, federal wetlands, or both. State and federal delineations can be different. In addition, the DEC will need to confirm the state regulated wetland areas on the site plans after they had submitted to the DEC, verified in the field by DEC staff, and then stamped and signed by an authorized DEC staff with written confirmation on the plans. The Army Corps of Engineers issued a letter on the site wetlands on 6/18/2019. The letter specifies the need for an individual water quality certification, from the state DEC. This may or may not be relevant, but this needs to be confirmed by the agencies. In addition, the CE's letter also is also specific to a different applicant and a different site plan proposal. And the letter he sent me is for your adjoining site, but the wetlands crossover. So I think there's some carryover there. Okay. And And then, I did ask a clarifying question. Did you see the plan set from September 30th, 2024? It delineated federal wetlands, but does not appear to delineate state wetlands. His response, yes, I did see the 9/30/2024 plan set, and yes, you are right, it shows existing federal wetlands, but does not relate existing delineation to the 2019 Corps of Engineers letter, nor the 2017 delineation. If the 2024 federal wetland flagging the same area delineated for the prior project dating back to 2017, wetlands change over time, and the Corps letter from 2019 was presumably based on the 2017 delineation. I look back at the site plans prepared in 2018, and the Corps delineations differ in shape with those provided on the new plans. What happened? That's why I suggested an update by including the Corps. DEC wetlands are now part of the larger site, the adjoining parcel, and this regulatory area has yet to be delineated and confirmed by DEC to my knowledge. Since state wetlands include, for now, a 100-foot regulated adjacent area, any areas of disturbance need to be identified beyond the wetland itself. It would be good to see if we could see what changed between 2018 and the current proposed project, along with the 2017 versus the 2024 federal wetland delineations. I was having trouble aligning the parcels and areas so that a comparison could be made. And we are in the process of getting Ted paper copies so that he can do that. So in light of those emails, I have prepared a resolution declaring our intent to be lead agency, DEC and Army Corps, as potential involved agencies. I've also included, give me 1 second, I just have to get to the window. Wrong screen. I'm sorry. So I have involved agencies, New York State DEC, Army Corps, interested agencies, Orange County Department of Planning, I have Monroe Fire Department or Fire District, and then Monroe Department of Public Works. Am I missing anybody?
Don't believe so.
Do we need to circulate
Maybe
it to DOT?
DOT, I mean, they may be
Interested.
but they're not issuing any permits, so it's not as, now there's no requirement for permits.
But since we're circulating, I might as well copy them on it.
That's probably,
Okay.
Department of Planning referral, we have to do.
I have that.
I believe you have to do the historical application too. They're not.
No, they're not in the historic district.
But they abut it. That's what Ted, that's what Ted told me.
I'll double check, but I don't have that in my notes. That
Okay,
they're-
yeah, he said if any property abuts the historical district, then it has to be looked at.
One property away from that.
That's,
That's not America.
unless he's talking about sending it to SHPO.
Could be. I don't know. It's clarification, I guess, we can get from him.
I don't think so. I did look at that earlier.
Okay.
I'll confirm if we need to send it to SHPO.
Actually, I think we did send it to SHPO.
Oh,
I think
okay.
I actually received a letter.
Okay, but if I have to include them as a circulatory agency, I need to know. But we don't, I did not see an authority for us to regulate historic.
Jason, did you send that to us?
The SHPO letter?
Yeah.
I think we just received it earlier this
Okay.
month. So.
Okay, yeah, send it over when you get a chance. Just for the file.
I still, even though they've requested it, I would still need to, under seeker, if I just need to confirm
Yep, I understand.
to circulate for that.
Anything more from you, Elizabeth? Or just-
I do have a resolution.
Oh, for the
Yep.
intent to declare lead agency?
So this is a two-parter. This is an intent to declare lead agency as well as refer the application pursuant to 239. And if the board wishes, I've included referral to a fire district, if you wish any other agencies to refer it to. But whereas the Village of Monroe Planning Board is in receipt of an application by Stage Development LLC for site plan approval, special permit use, architectural review, and consolidation of 3 lots to permit the conversion of an existing building to auto body and retail use, existing parking lot to be expanded. Whereas a long form environmental assessment form dated August 26, 2024 was submitted for review. Whereas after comparing the thresholds contained in 6 NYCRR 617.4 and 5, the planning board has determined that the proposed project is an unlisted action pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act. And now therefore be it resolved, the planning board makes the following findings. 1, the proposed action is subject to the State Environmental Quality Review Act. 2, the action may involve 1 or more other agencies. 3, the action is preliminarily classified as an unlisted action pursuant to 6 NYCRR 617. 4, coordinated review of the action is appropriate. Be it further resolved that the planning board hereby declares its intent to be lead agency for review of this action. Be it further resolved that the planning board clerk shall cause notice of such intent to be circulated in accordance with SECR. Be it further resolved that the determination of significance will be made at such time as all information has been received by the planning board to enable it to determine whether or not the action will or will not have a significant effect on the environment. Be it further resolved that a copy of the application shall be transmitted to the Orange County Department of Planning and New York State Department of Transportation pursuant to General Municipal Law Section 239, and further referred to the Monroe Fire District. Anybody else?
Is there any traffic study done with this already?
That you could, as part of your SECR review, so this is the initial starting step to start the process that we would lead, because there are potentially other agencies involved. We're doing what's intent versus just declaring it outright, where we're the only ones. We'll circulate that, and we require a 30-day circulation. After that 30-day circulation, we can assume what's called assume lead agency. Based on what the applicant has submitted, we'll review a part 2 of the EAF. Those are the series of questions. You know, do you find an impact, small, moderate? You know, yes, the small, moderate to large. And on the basis of that, your review of that, you can direct the applicant to provide whatever additional information you may want to make your analysis. Okay. So whether that be traffic, there's been a fair amount of wetlands work because it's heavy wetlands. Whatever those impacts may be, you can require either in the form of an expanded EAF, which is the long form plus all those documents. You can add as much as you want to that document, or through the preparation of an environmental impact statement. Okay.
Okay, so we need a motion to approve the intent to,
To be lead agent, I'll make that motion.
Member Kelly, second? Second. And Member Allen, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, carry.
Can I ask a question about the plan now? I'm a little confused about the basement level retail space underneath. How do they get to it?
If you see the concrete walk there that leads to it, there's an entrance.
Where's the parking for it?
Oh, it's accounted for behind the building.
So are they going to have
They
to
go down the left-hand side.
They have to go past the auto body to get to the retail space?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. I think that that's not really very safe.
There are stairs also at the
There's stairs, yeah.
So they could possibly park them.
Yeah, I don't know. Look at this.
No, I agree.
Right? Here's this, and they'd have to go through all the cars at the auto body, find a place near the auto body to park, and then walk around the corner or go down the stairs. Stairs aren't really conducive to a lot of people.
Wait, is the auto? I thought the auto body was.
The auto body's in the back, and there's a retail place. You'd have to walk around and get there.
Is the retail in the old gym?
The
Yes.
gym down there.
Yeah.
It's the only place.
Yeah, that's where it is, and it's just like they would have to drive through an auto body shop parking lot, and that's just like, I don't know, that's looking for trouble, I think.
It looks to have an entrance on the other side of the building.
But then there's parking for it, that's, I don't like the setup, it's not sitting right.
So they have to come all the way around.
There is enough parking based on the zone code. We could look into changing the entrance.
At least make it safer. Right now, it doesn't look very safe at all. You know, having to drive through the auto body place. Now, granted, if they keep it nice and clean, but I've never seen a clean auto body place. Yeah, that doesn't happen. So I'm thinking about people's safety. So maybe if you know, have them address that.
And Jesse, this isn't a legal issue. The wetland layers, if there is anything you can do to the shading, it literally makes your eyes go.
Okay, yeah.
It is.
It's like what do they call it? Like what is that? A warrior effect or something?
It literally, it was
almost made sense.
extremely hard to, it did funny things to my eyes, particularly reading it on a computer screen. If we could find some other way of shading, and I know you have layers on top of layers, but it was challenging for me to read.
Yeah.
Wait till you see the rendering of the building. Those colors are really.
Okay. I have enough issues with my vision, and but it was literally like the lines were moving on me.
It was the seizures that started that you were having problems with.
So if you could do anything to adjust when you, in your next round of edits, adjust the layers, one way or another, but the intersecting cross-hatching. I don't care who you blame, just anything you can do to make that slightly better.
Yep, I think that's it, right, for now? And we'll get a copy of Ted's stuff to you too.
Yeah, I'll forward, I'll circulate Ted's emails, because I think they should be incorporated into the record. And, if they come back and say, hey, we don't need that, if we get a letter from DEC that, hey, we're out of it, that's fine, but it's close enough that we have to assume that they're in, particularly that 50 feet looking at various distances, your disturbance is right there.
Yeah, I mean, for whatever I was looking at the ecological analysis report that you guys had submitted. I mean, it says in there, there's two things here. It says the wetlands and stream on site are regulated by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. A permit is required for any disturbance to the wetland or the streams. And again, I know the plan says there's no disturbance to the wetlands proposed, but he also goes on to continue. He says, as the wetland goes off the property, it is unknown if it connects to the off-site New York State DEC wetland. So that's where, if it were connected to that DEC wetland, it's very likely that the DEC would connect all of that, and then you have a buffer that goes around the wetland as well. So.
Anything, Jesse, that you have for us?
No, yeah, I'm keeping this fish. I guess one thing with the screening for that rear parking lot, so I guess the owner is maintaining a fence back there right now, or is there?
It says it's coming down on the plan.
Okay,
on the plan it says that chain link fence is coming down.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, chain link fence, and at one point it says it's gonna be coming down. And if they have a chain link fence there, how are they gonna get to the retail space?
Well, there's a
Okay.
Why don't they just put a row of arborvitae?
Yeah, that's what I was asking, if you want.
That would be perfect, that would actually be better. But the chain link fence, you're gonna be able to see the cars beyond it. If you put some arborvitae up there, and the road is a little higher, I think that would be a better deflection of the. Yeah, I think it'd be a lot better than the chain link fence.
Mr. Ditch, I wanna make sure this is in the record.
All right, I'm good. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Okay, thanks. All right, minutes. Do we have minutes? We do.
Anybody's own.
No,
I feel better
2
about
minutes to
my
approve.
actions.
6 minutes to approve.
This is on consultant this thing. It may need a permit, pretty much.
So Fred, the only one.
Good night.
I got to stay in the last one.
See you, Jim.
I'm staying in the last one.
Right, you missed the 7th. So,
They're actually.
we just need to make a motion for, the minutes for 9/24/24, to approve those.
I'll make that motion.
And I'll,
Okay, member Kelly, member
No, I
Ionucci,
know.
seconds.
Don't touch it.
All in favor? And opposed? Okay, approved. And, we need a motion for the 10/7/24 minutes.
Can I just, on the 10:27 minutes, I'm sorry, and this is just.
10/7.
Right, the 10:07 minutes, particularly since it reflected the recent application. there's a statement in there, and I don't know, that Dave said that it doesn't need DEC permits, I recall, and I don't know, Dave saying it might need DEC, like, I just wanna have that clarification, because I don't, the way.
Ted said it does.
What?
Ted said it does.
Well, no, I understand that, during the discussion,
Just now?
no,
Oh,
on
okay,
10-7.
gotcha, way back, you're right, he said
The
that
way
he
I
needed
read the minutes is Dave is definitively saying
It doesn't.
it doesn't
doesn't
need
need it,
DEC,
correct.
and that's not the way I think he meant it. It was more of a question. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
I just don't want somebody coming back in the minutes and said, well, Dave says it doesn't need DEC approval, when we clearly just had this whole conversation that issue isn't resolved. It's still an open issue. It may not need DEC approval, but I just want to be clear and make that clarification.
So put it
So put it in as a question,
mark.
you're saying?
I think it should reflect that it's
Uncertain.
uncertain. Unless you.
I guess it's based upon, they're saying they're not disturbing any wetlands,
Right.
but I
And
guess
defining-
also.
Defining that is the issue.
Correct, yes, and it's not exactly clear,
Right.
their maps are extremely hard to read.
And Ted couldn't do the overlay. He said whatever the 2017 mapping was, that changes. Wetlands change.
Yes.
And he said, so now he's trying to lay it over and it's not laying over.
And unfortunately, this project immediately adjoins a wetland site where we have and this is what happened, we have two projects side by side where we have significant wetlands paperwork on the Ramapo Street project,
As well.
which crosses over into this property. So
Right.
like, we can't just go, oh, la, 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 we don't know about it.
That one didn't have DEC wetlands on it, did it?
I think it's just Army Corps.
I think it was just on the
But
right.
I
That would
think
be
the
the
point
same
is-
network of wetlands.
But I think the point is it connects further up.
Could.
And the problem is, there's no statement, here's the federal wetlands, but there's no DEC wetlands.
Right, it's just vague right now. That's the problem, like on who's.
Also, like I said, trying to read what was wetland, what was floodplain, what was creek,
The layers are just
river.
crazy, yeah. I think that's great, I'm glad you brought it up. Jess, and he sounds like he'll fix that.
Literally, the lines were like moving on the
Right,
screen,
yeah.
and I'm going,
Especially on a computer screen.
and I'm trying
you're
to
right.
take my glasses
Really
off, put my glasses on.
Even on paper.
Paper it did too,
they're
but
still,
the computer has that added light to it, so it's like it's moving.
Yeah.
But I know we had a question about the mean river level.
Right, so
Floodplain. So that mean river level during a flood, how far does the structure have to be from that?
well, it's got to be. Well, there's one that said 100 foot and one thing and 50 foot, 50 feet from that one.
Well, so there's
heard-
various different things that.
There are.
Last week I heard
But the mean
100 feet.
that's in there too.
That's DEC wetland, that's DEC wetland buffer.
Buffer. This one is the mean high watermark.
Right.
So the problem comes, and this is why Ted can't tell, because it shows a 60 foot from the edge of their property, but the stream is on their property.
It's within the property.
So their
At
property
least
line goes to
20
the
feet.
other side of the stream on the 17 side,
Pretty close.
right? So
Right.
so then the watermark's got to be interior to that.
Correct.
So it's very likely, based on that,
Yeah, but
that
they're gonna
it
put a
doesn't
flip area.
meet that.
They don't have the
But
50
Ted
feet,
can't
and
get
they
the-
definitely don't have the 100 feet.
Yeah.
No, Ted
They're
needs
touching it.
to do it the way he wants to do it with the other stuff. He needs the paper copies, so we're sending it to him.
And what about the divergent barriers that are there?
Well, I don't wanna get too much, we don't have the applicant here.
Right.
We're not getting too much into it. The divergent barrier still affects downstream.
Well, that's in Dave's comment, so the applicant will have to address it.
Yes, it's there.
Correct, David?
Yeah, that's what I had said.
Yeah.
That's
It's
so
in his
all those
comment.
comments that David put out
Yes.
there, they have to address those.
And that,
Yeah.
it's a mess on Ramapo.
Well, they've got challenges for sure. I mean, anybody that builds anything over there, you're gonna have challenges. You know what I mean? Because of the wetlands.
And this board should be asking, why are you building that?
Oh, we've asked it many times. You know, people, listen, many will tell you that's progress, we'll find a way to do it.
Does that building flood on the bottom?
Yes.
Yes.
Or the water body will be,
Yes.
gets flooded?
That's
one of the
Oh, that's a
issues.
major problem then with all the oil.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we'll talk about that when
That's
the
one of the-
applicant's here.
That's one of the issues,
Yes.
yes.
Okay, yeah.
So,
That's a big issue on that.
Jeff, you just have that one change to the minutes, and so you just have to vote on that.
So we need to vote on the second set of minutes, we need,
With
we
the
need,
change.
yes, we need
in there.
approval, a motion made to approve, with the, as amended. So whoever wants to make that, you can't, Fred, right?
I'll make the motion.
Yeah, go the same way.
With the
Oh, you
change.
make the motion, I couldn't vote on it, right?
Can't make a motion either
Okay.
for that. So, all right, Keith made the motion,
Stop.
Alan,
I'll second it.
and Iannucci seconded, again, as amended, so all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed? Okay,
Abstain, one, abstain.
abstain, one
Let
abstention.
the record reflect.
Member Kelly abstains.
Terry, I will go through, and get you all these I gotta go through and update resolutions and I'll circulate.
I make a motion to adjourn.
You can do that.
Yeah, I'll burn it too.
Okay, so, well, who seconded it? We need a second.
You seconded
You
it.
seconded it.
Oh, did I? Okay.
You seconded it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're done.